You know when you're playing FIFA, you're playing so well, you're getting like 10, 15 shots each half, but you're just not winning the game, and then at the end, you score, but then they score, or whatever. You don't win the game, but you look at the stats, and it's what happened tonight. It's literally a game of FIFA that you just don't win when you get 25 shots on target and you score 2 goals and the other team scored 2 goals with 2 shots. How have we come away with a point today? I think that goes to show not only were we fighting well, showing some spirit, but rubbish, crap. Chelsea was somehow just as bad. They're so naive. It is unbelievable. How do you let a lead slip twice against 10 men? Unforgivable. And if that was the other way round, if this was Arsenal at home playing against a 10-man Chelsea and going ahead twice, being pegged back twice, I would be fuming. So Chelsea fans, I feel for you. There's obvious things wrong at the club right now, but they're building just like we are, and they're considerably better than we are. Like, come on. It's just one of those things. I feel for you guys. I do, because that must really sting. But we come away with a draw, and I am absolutely over the moon with that draw. Drawsonal FC. We should start being called that. It was just an unbelievable game. Let's talk about the red card first, because of course that is the elephant in the room. Yes, it was a red card. Of course it was. You don't need VAR. I mean, even if there's barely any contact, just enough contact to bring Abraham down or put him off the shot, it's a red card. He's the last man. He's probably going to score. You have to send him off. First of all, Mustafi. Okay, Mustafi, bless this man, okay? He thinks he's good enough. He thinks he's worthy of being an Arsenal player, but little does he know, he's not, funnily enough. I do feel sorry for him. That the video that was posted on the Arsenal website and on their channel and stuff, talking about how Mustafi dealt with all the problems and all the criticism and stuff, yeah, it's a real sob story. I'm really sorry that you're a multi-millionaire and earning 100k a week playing for Arsenal and making mistakes week in, week out. Boo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, awful. I get it. No one deserves to be bullied, but just don't listen to it. Just log off all your social media and just play. But my God, you are bad. You are so bad, it's laughable. The pass back. I mean, it defies logic. It actually, I think, is harder to do what he did than get the pass away correctly. It doesn't make sense to me. Whatever, okay? We still got a chance, right? We've still got a goalkeeper that's very capable, and we've got David Luiz, who can potentially get back and make the tackle. Now, he tries. He takes Abraham down, and of course, you have to send him off. I get that. Now, what I want to know is, do you guys agree with me here? You let Abraham shoot. Am I the only person here that thinks that? Let him shoot. Let him try. Because the worst case scenario is he scores. But at least you've got all your men on the pitch. Because you're going to give away a penalty. You're going to get sent off. And in all likelihood, a player like Jorginho, who is very good at penalties, pretty much anyone who's decent at penalties, you know, the odds on them scoring, it's not actually 50-50. Everyone says penalties are 50-50, but they're really not, okay? The advantage is massive for the attacker, the player taking the penalty. So getting a red card, giving away a penalty, and most likely conceding from that penalty. And even if you don't concede, let's say they miss the penalty, you've still got to play the rest of the game 60 plus minutes with 10 men. In my opinion, and a player of David Luiz's experience probably should have thought about that. Yes, it happens very quickly. People make mistakes. And I know he thought he was doing the right thing and he was trying to do his best attempt to win the ball back fairly. And it was close, but no. I think in that situation, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but I think you just let Abraham score. Or at least just let him have a shot, because he might not score. You've got Leno in goal, who, as I said, is a very capable keeper. He is one of the only reasons we're not in the relegation zone. Aubameyang up top and Leno at the back. That's why we're not in the relegation zone, okay? Just let him shoot. Worst case, we go 1-0 down. Yes, the memes will come out. Everyone will hate on Mustafi, but at least we've got another 60 minutes of the game with the full 11, you know? So that's how I think that you should be dealing with those situations. If someone's through on goal and it looks very unlikely that you're going to catch them, just let them shoot. That's what I would do anyway. Maybe I'm massively wrong. Maybe there was a genuine chance that David Luiz could have done it. But I, having seen the replay many times, don't think that there was any chance. Abraham is quick. Okay. So we go down to 10 men. They get the penalty, and of course they score. Good penalty. Not much power on it, but the placement was perfect. Leno went the right way, I believe, if I remember correctly. And yeah, it was fine. You know, we're 1-0 down. We're down to 10 men. The game's over, right? But no. This is something I've noticed, in fairness, since Unai Emery took over. Under Wenger, for the final 3, maybe even 4 seasons, we had such a brittle mentality. In that situation, when we go down to 10 men and concede a goal so early on in the game, we would have lost, funnily enough, probably 6-0. I was at Stamford Bridge for that 6-0 loss all those years ago when we got the red card, which was Oxlade-Chamberlain saving the ball from going in. I think it was actually going wide in the end, but he handballed it and Gibbs got sent off. Who remembers that, right? I was there for that game and I was used to that collapse. You know, when Arsenal players, heads down, game's over, there, whatever, let's just play on, right? But since Unai Emery took over, I noticed it massively last season in the big games and in situations where we're losing control rapidly, that we had just a better mentality. We were stronger mentally. It was good tonight. It really was. You know, you've got to give it to the players that were still on the pitch, giving it their all, because we were really resilient. We faced a very, very high-pressured situation every 30 seconds where Chelsea were bombarding us. How they didn't score more than 2 goals tonight, I don't know. You've got to give it to the keeper and the defenders and some of the midfielders as well. And there was one player I'm leaving out of that, and that's Mesut Ozil. We'll talk about that in a moment, but it's unbelievable how he survived through that onslaught. Any other team in that top 6, I think, would have blasted us away. So credit due, I think, to the Arsenal team that would have collapsed years ago, actually put up a fight. And it was really quite stressful to watch, but unbelievable. I mean, and the fact that we went down to 2-1 after Martinelli's fantastic solo effort, there wasn't a slip or anything that led him through. Nah. Honestly, though, Kante, I feel so sorry for him. What a solid player he is. You can just see his foot slips underneath him and Gabriel's through. But what you got to remember is the slip isn't the whole reason he scored. Okay, Gabriel still had to have the pace to do it. With the ball, by the way, if you didn't know, when you dribble with a football, kind of slows you down. So to run at pace with the ball is a skill in itself, and to have more pace than I think it was Emerson, than the other defenders running back is really quite good. And then you've got to finish it up against Kepa, who arguably hasn't had a great season, but is still a very good goalkeeper. Should have saved it, really, I would say. But Martinelli, fantastic. But then, of course, we concede, go 2-1 down, and then we show the mentality, the strength to go back at them again and get an equaliser. And it was Bellerin as well, his first appearance in well over a month. And I actually thought he was pretty poor tonight until that moment. There were moments where I just think it was a bit of rust. You know, he hasn't played properly in well over a year. So I don't blame him. There were some okay moments. Defensively, he was getting back, but it just didn't feel quite right. I'm quite surprised we didn't go with Maitland-Niles, to be honest. But Bellerin, fair play, man. He gets up on that right side and he bends one in with his left foot, and it's a beautiful goal. 2-2. Out of nothing. I mean, we didn't deserve a draw. Technically, based off the stats, we just did not deserve that draw. So I'm absolutely elated with that. But we've got to be honest. Excuse my French coming up. If you don't like swearing, click off this video. But we are still shit. We really are. We're terrible. We're so bad. It just so happens that we're slightly less shit than we were maybe a month or 2 months ago when Unai Emery was getting fired. Because, yes, we've improved, but we're still shit. You know, we're still not a very good team. Without Aubameyang, we've got nothing going forward. Lacazette on his own is... I'm not having it. And it wasn't working at all. We're very lucky that we got those 2 shots on target and in the back of the net. Let's talk about Mesut, because he got subbed off 10 minutes into the second half, and it was obvious it was going to happen. And by the way, when we went down to 10 men, we didn't make a sub. Xhaka went in at centre-back and nailed it. What a performance from him. But Mesut Ozil, I want to talk about him because in this kind of game, you need a Mesut Ozil type player to just produce that bit of magic. And I just want to run a stat by you guys. I believe it is 13 games for Mesut Ozil in the Premier League with 0 goals and 1 assist. 13 games. So you're looking to him to finally do something, and he just didn't tonight. And it was quite literally like playing with 9 men, because he doesn't get back defensively very well. Sure, his presence is welcomed. It's good. He's another red shirt in the way of passes and things like that. But the effort he puts into tackles and debatably, I would have taken him off straight away. I actually would have taken him off and maybe brought in Holding. But of course, Arteta decided to stay with what we had and just drop Xhaka back and bring Ozil back a little bit. And it actually worked quite well because Xhaka did so well. But Mesut Ozil, as soon as he came off, we brought Guendouzi on. We just had a little bit more energy. But Guendouzi, I mean, that kick, he kicked out on, I think it was Emerson. That could have been a red. He's kicked the back of his leg out of pure anger that he's been beaten. And I think Guendouzi is a massive liability like that. He just loses his head. His lack of concentration is really a worry for me, but he undoubtedly has quality. He's going to be a top player if he can shake that part of his game out, because it's actually terrible. You can't rely on a player like that if he's going to be coming on. And the way he just runs straight at the referee and has a go at him when something goes against Arsenal, I get the passion, mate. I feel the passion, but my God, you're going to get yellow cards doing that. And then if you go and kick someone once they've got past you, you're going to get yellow cards and possibly red cards. It wasn't violent enough to be a red, granted, but it's still a stupid challenge. Just don't do that. I know he's a kid, but come on, I've seen... Well, there's a good example on the pitch. Saka, he's not even a left back. He doesn't go around kicking players, and he's younger than you are, and arguably has less experience as well. It baffles me that some of these players like Guendouzi just don't think. It feels like everything's in the heat of the moment, and you're a professional football player. It's not just your ability on the ball, your qualities on the ball. It's actually a lot about your brain as well, your thoughts, your processes when you're thinking and seeing the bigger picture, and he doesn't seem to be able to calm it down. But hopefully that's something Arteta will work on. I think I've gone through everything I wanted to say tonight. I don't know who my man of the match would be. I think it's a case of both teams just being utterly crap tonight, to be fair. Maybe Xhaka, just because he had to play at centre-back and he actually did a better job than both Mustafi and David Luiz. Honestly, unbelievable from Granit Xhaka. And do you know what? I think, and I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but I'd actually put him up there as one of the captains again. I know that Bellerin was made captain tonight, and he's probably, is he fourth in line? So you've got Aubameyang, Ozil, Lacazette, and then him. Is that the order we're going with? But honestly, I think Granit Xhaka's earned it back. I would like to see him made vice-captain, in behind Aubameyang. I feel like what happened. Yes, it wasn't good enough on his end. It wasn't good enough on the Arsenal fans in the stadium's end, but I think he's earned it back. He's showed that he's got his head down. He's worked hard, and under Arteta so far, he has been really good. So I wouldn't be against that. I would give him vice captain. So one more game without Aubameyang. I believe next we've got Bournemouth away. Now Bournemouth have been shocking recently, but they got a big result tonight. I think it was 3-1 against Brighton. So they're going to be raring to go. But that, in my opinion, is an absolute 3-pointer for us. We have to win that game. We have to win that game, because another point, what is that? Does that put us in 12th? I think, something like that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching Operation Arsenal once again. Completely uncut, just raw emotion and thoughts every time the game finishes, straight onto the channel. So make sure, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And I will catch you guys for another video tomorrow. We're bringing back the Sunderland Road to Glory career mode, and I'll see you for that tomorrow.